Hey, it's been a while since I've talked to you guys on YouTube. I have been active in the last few months on avoidthemark.com with a lot of new podcasts that I don't have here on YouTube. Avoidthemark.com is now gone. I don't know what happened to it in the last week. The site is just completely unreachable. I can't reach it in any way. I haven't received any emails or any notifications from my web servers or anything like that as to what's going on, and I can't even access the back end of it anymore. I don't know what happened, but it's gone. And to be honest, I don't have the desire right now to try to bring it back up. So I have all of my podcasts are on Mixcloud. I will include a link to my recent podcasts. There's 54 of them on Mixcloud. And I wanted to share this one about cryptocurrency that I had made, I believe, on April 4th. It was the last or final podcast that I've made. I've been very quiet for some time now, kind of been poking around back on Twitter again recently, but it was the last podcast that I made in the Real Talk Therapy series. I may still make more. Lately, I just haven't had a lot to say. But if you haven't listened to my Real Talk Therapy podcast, you can do so on Mixcloud. You can hear all of them there. But I wanted to get this video about cryptocurrency up on YouTube because I thought maybe some more people would have a chance to hear my thoughts on it. Actually, when it was on my site and on Mixcloud, it had a lot of people listening to it and created quite a stir. Last night, I just put up a simple tweet and I said, cryptocurrency is a trap, yo. And that's all I said. And that's kind of gone a little bit viral and getting a lot of mixed reactions from a lot of people in the truth community that aren't really understanding what I'm saying that for or what my full take on it is. So I thought I would put this podcast here up on YouTube. And so again, I recorded this on April 4th, and I hope you get something out of it, and I look forward to your feedback in the comments. Peace. I want to start off by saying that I am absolutely not a cryptocurrency trading expert in any regard whatsoever at all. So if you're here to learn about how to trade in cryptocurrency, you're absolutely not going to find that here. What you are going to find is a take on cryptocurrency that I feel has been sorely underreported when it comes to people who believe in the Almighty, who worship our Creator, and who are also looking for ways to make a dollar, make a living in this crazy, screwed up world that we're currently in. And obviously, cryptocurrency, namely Bitcoin, has become quite a conversation, especially in the last few months, as its per Bitcoin price has rose, I believe, over $50,000 at one point. I'm not sure what it's at today. I didn't prepare for this podcast by looking at the current price, but I know it's really high. It's really high. And there's a lot of people excited about that, and there's a lot of people making a lot of money off of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies like Dogecoin, which Elon Musk has been pushing for some reason. For some reason, Elon Musk. You could say it's just a little hobby of his to see how he can single-handedly push a cryptocurrency on his own. But I think it's more. There's more to it than that as to why Elon Musk has wasted his time or spent his time promoting something as obscure as the cryptocurrency called Dogecoin. But what I want to talk about today has nothing to do with cryptocurrency current trading prices or anything like that. It has everything to do with what I believe I'm seeing with cryptocurrencies as it relates to the kingdom of God and believers, and how I think it is a pretty strong deception that's leading us on a very wrong path of the worship of money. And it confuses me because there's some very prolific believers in the online world with very large followings and very large shows and podcasts and things like that talk a lot about cryptocurrency and promote it a lot. And ever since I ever heard the term cryptocurrency, the first thing I ever thought was Tales from the Crypt. Death. Crypt. Death. And I was like, I mean, this was way back in the day when I first started to hear the term. I was like, wait a minute, crypt. That doesn't sound good. Like, what's the attraction to all this? And then back in, I think mid to late 2017, as my freelance job as a freelance writer, I began to get assigned a lot of articles about cryptocurrency and what it was all about, how to trade in it, things like that. And so I had to do a lot of research myself to really learn what cryptocurrency was all about in order to compose articles, educational articles, to people that didn't know much about cryptocurrency at the time. And if you didn't know, that's kind of what the internet's made out of. Writers like me who write freelance, ghost writers, who don't necessarily know subject matter but get assigned articles to write. We have to learn it and then relay it in an authoritative way. And that's kind of what's ruined the internet. Unfortunately, I'm to blame for that because I've done that for a living now for about 4 or 5 years. So I began to write a lot of articles about cryptocurrency. And at that time, there was big talk that it may hit $10,000, per Bitcoin. Bitcoin may hit $10,000. There was really no other talk of other types of crypto at that time other than like Ethereum was big. There was one other one. I don't really remember what it was, but I know Ethereum was the second biggest. And then shortly thereafter, Bitcoin Cash broke off as its own cryptocurrency. But when I started really diving into it, Bitcoin was hovering around $3,000 to $4,000 per coin. And my ex, my fiance at the time, back in 2017, she had some extra money. And as I was learning about it, I'm like, man, you got to get your money in this. Like, this thing's going to skyrocket. And such is saying this could go to 100,000 by 2022 and blah, blah, blah. And she had a decent amount of extra money to be able to invest. And at the time, Bitcoin was around, I believe, 4,300 when I convinced her to jump in. And she didn't jump in big. I believe she got in for half a Bitcoin at that time. So it was like 4,300. So whatever half of that would be, 2150 or something like that. It was somewhere around there that she had invested. But Bitcoin was at around 4,300. And so we wrote it out and kind of watched it for a couple of months. It wasn't very long. And I believe it was at the end of 2017, heading into 2018. I could be off by a year one way or the other. But when it first started to really skyrocket and started to head toward 20,000, I don't believe at that time it ever hit 20,000, but it came really close, or maybe went a little over, but I think it just came really close. In early 2018, I believe, again, I'm doing this on the fly, I don't have stats in front of me, you can verify this, but it's very, very close, whatever I'm saying, because we were watching it personally because she was now invested in it. So she had invested in half of Bitcoin. It had gone from 4,300 to almost 20,000 in a very short period of time. So she had, taken $2,000 and turned it into like 10. Without doing anything other than stressing over it because every day, she was watching the Bitcoin price religiously, literally religiously. And that's kind of the problem with Bitcoin as we get into this. And so the stress of it, of having money tied up in there was not good on her. And of course, there wasn't much stress for me because it wasn't my money. But, she was real stressed out about it because it just was a non-traditional investment. And she was used to investing in IRAs and she had some money in the stock market, traditional Dow Jones kind of stuff and NASDAQ kind of stuff. And so she saw this huge skyrocket, this huge spike and thought, well, I'm going to keep riding it out. It might keep going up and up and up. And then it started to crash down. And I think when it was at around 8,000 or 9,000, she just got out. She was just tired of the stress of it. So she doubled her money, but it was really no big deal. And at that point, she was like, in her words, she was like, you know what, Travis, I'm just not a gambler. She viewed it as gambling. She's like, I'm just not a gambler. I don't want to get involved in that again. It's just too volatile. Like, I don't know what's going on with my money on any given hour of any given day, because it all changes. And of course, the same happens with the stock market and gold and silver and all that. But you don't necessarily watch that on an hour by hour basis. But Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies are kind of different, if you're not used to being invested in that kind of thing. So she got out and never got back in. And I'm sure she'd tell you today, man, I wish I was still in there, getting in at around 4,000. But again, it was something that made a little bit of money, but for her, the stress just wasn't really worth it. And so I hear so many of these large influencers, and I'm not going to name names. You know who they are. I'm thinking, you know who they are. Some that I highly respect, that are pushing Bitcoin, and I don't really get it, because what I'm seeing with Bitcoin, first of all, to start off, just base level, it's digital. It's digital. And if you follow me for any period of time at all whatsoever, you know that I believe that digital is the beast system, is the tool of the beast system. Digital everything. From quantum computing, from D-Wave, from all of these other, from artificial intelligence, all of these digital tools are being put into place that are meant to destroy us, that are meant to enslave us first, and ultimately to destroy us, or to meld us into it in some conscience meld or consciousness meld kind of way. And I don't think that's good, and that's nothing that I want a part of whatsoever. And so if you remember, and a Twitter user reminded me of this a few days ago, the patent 060606, you can look it up yourself, and it talks a lot about melding human DNA with blockchain technology. If you know anything about cryptocurrency, it runs on blockchain technology. It's a ledger system. It's an unhackable, untraceable ledger system. All blockchain is run by users, and it's supposed to be fully secure and free from hacking and all that. And and so crypto runs on blockchain. And what this patent 060606 does is basically it's a technology that merges blockchain with human DNA. Okay? Nothing good going on there. Getting DNA involved in technology, in blockchain. And if you've followed me since the old days of my B System Revealed channel, you know last spring and summer I talked a lot about how I strongly believe, as part of the COVID-19 PCR tests that they were sticking up in people's noses into their brains, along with having nanoparticles and things like that, and smart dust potentially, that made people very sick and killed some, including my mother's sister, in November. Of course, that video got taken down quickly by YouTube. But I believe that the PCR tests are also DNA collection. And DNA collection has been going on forever in this country. Anybody who's ever been involved in the court system anymore, for the most part, has had to have a DNA sample. Anybody who's sent in a test to Ancestry.com, or what is that 123 thing, Ancestry 123 or something like that, has sent in their DNA and charged for the privilege of sending in their DNA so they can find out, quote unquote, what their heritage is and where they're from. And really, I think it's always been a DNA collection portal that's been reported to the 3-letter agencies of the government. And so there's a big database of human DNA. And so I think that's a big deal, because this patent 060606 is meant to take human DNA and merge it with blockchain. And when you get to that point, you could see how your very personal identity, your DNA, could so easily be tied into the currency that you spend, cryptocurrency. And I really believe that cryptocurrency, this digital currency, will be, it may not be Bitcoin. I don't think it'll be Bitcoin. This is a primer. This is to get us ready. I believe if you go back and read the first article I ever wrote on avoidthemark.com, it's called "The Mark of the Beast Isn't What You Think." Okay? It was written on March 17th of 2020. Just go to avoidthemark.com and go to the search and type in "Mark of the Beast." And it'll take you right to that article. And as you read through it, you'll see what I believe the beast system currency is going to look like. And that's going to be a cryptocurrency on the blockchain. on the blockchain, the rainbow currency. And it's going to be backed by gold, silver, precious metals, and it will be a one world currency. It only makes sense. Backed by the St. Germain World Trust, which is a real thing. And it's been over a year since I've written that article and made that video that keeps getting taken down from everywhere still. Anywhere I try to upload it, it gets taken down. Except for, I think, BitChute. I think you can still find it on BitChute. In fact, if you go to avoidthemark.com and find the Mark of the Beast article, right on the top is the BitChute video. You can click on that and watch it on BitChute. But otherwise, everybody else takes it down. And so I think it's really, the Beast system is really leading into a blockchain technology, a rainbow currency, the rainbow currency. They may not call it that, but something along those lines, because it'll be all-inclusive rainbow, that we're so used to seeing now in the LGBTQ++ community. So I'm not seeing on a level as a believer in the Almighty how getting involved in cryptocurrency right now is a good thing. And you might say, well, Travis, we got to use the tools we have for us right now. We got to use those tools, to increase our means, to increase our ability to have money to promote the gospel and all that. And what the hell is the difference between cryptocurrency and the dollar? The dollar's crashing and cryptocurrency is skyrocketing. Why would I put trust in a dollar? Well, you're not supposed to put trust in a dollar either. You don't put trust in money. You don't put trust in material wealth ever, ever, ever. God Almighty is directly opposed to it. He says, trust in me, and I will provide you your provisions. And that's what we're going to need to do as we move forward. So you might be reaping some rewards right now in the cryptocurrency world, and that's great. That's great. But at what point are you going to say, kind of like the same debate you have with mask to vaccine passport to quantum dot tattoo? Where's your line? Where's your line in the sand before now you've entered into the beast system? Now you've taken the mark of the beast. You've taken the mark of the beast. You've taken the mark of the beast. Where do you stop? Till it's too late. Where do you say, okay, this is my line. I'll be in crypto. I'll be in Bitcoin. I'll be in death currency, cryptocurrency. You should just call it death currency because that's really what they're saying. I'll be in that until it hits 100,000, Travis, and then I'll get out. Then I'll have enough money. Could take care of my family. That's not how it works, I don't think. Because the deeper we get sucked in, it's kind of like saying, well, you know what? Just to get by for a little while longer, I'll just take that first jab. I'll take that first shot in the arm, just the first round, just to kind of get him off my back. But I'm not going to go back for the second jab. I'm not going to go back for the second shot in the arm. I'll just get my toe in there a little bit. And that's dangerous because we have no idea what the undercurrents are in that sea. If you understand what I'm saying. You've ever been in an undercurrent in the ocean, you know that you cannot get back to shore. Matter of fact, when I was 21 years old, I got caught in one. In Cocoa Beach, Florida, I got caught in an undercurrent in the ocean, in the Atlantic. And I was a good, 300-400 feet out, farther than a football field out from shore. And that undercurrent started. I couldn't get back. I could not get back. And I must have walked, 2 or 3 miles walking parallel to the shore, just trying to inch my way closer and closer and closer to the shore to finally get there against that back current that I just couldn't fight against. And finally I did, thank God. But I'm telling you, you get in this undercurrent in crypto, you get in this undercurrent, I'll just wear a mask for a while, I'll consider the vax, I'll do the vax, but I'm not doing the vax passport. I don't know where your line in the sand is. To me, the line in the sand is now, stop everything. Stop everything. Come out of the world, my people. How many times on my podcast have I said that? God Almighty tells us, come out of the world. And I don't know how coming out of the world is getting into cryptocurrency, something that's leading to the beast system. And see, they've done such a good job at pretending that cryptocurrency is some underground thing and that you're some sort of insider for having all this information on Bitcoin or Ethereum or Dogecoin or whatever. Give me a break. It's mainstream. Elon Musk is tweeting about it. It's mainstream. Everybody has the opportunity. You're no insider. You're nobody special. You know about cryptocurrency and you're making some money off of that right now? I mean, of course you are. The dollar is collapsing. They purposefully collapsed the dollar, the default world currency. They've watered it down with trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of made-up money in a year. So how could Bitcoin not rise by default? It's not an insider's tool for being more spiritual or providing means even to be more spiritual. And I didn't mean to make this video quite this boldly, I guess, negatively about it. I kind of just wanted to explore it. But I mean, I know my stance on it. And I put out a tweet actually earlier today. That's kind of why I'm making this video, because this tweet got a lot of reaction. And all I said was, blockchain and crypto are part of the beast system. Convince me otherwise. That's all I said. And as I sit here right now, it just went up by another 4 comments, and I haven't read through all of them yet, but I haven't read one of them yet, at least from the people who follow me or are being exposed to this tweet, that disagree with me. Everybody believes, yeah, you're right. It is part of the beast system. It is blockchain and Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, death currency. It is part of the beast system. Well, then why are we involved in it at all? Get out of it. Oh, okay, Travis, we'll get off the internet. Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying. I know it's not always that easy. And I hate to be a downer about this because I know a lot of people are excited and making a lot of money. The problem is, when we get excited about money, it easily becomes worship of money. It becomes an idol. It becomes another god. And if anything in this world, especially in America, is another god besides the almighty Yahweh, it is and always has been money. Bitcoin is becoming the chief of the love of money. For people who feel like they're doing something that truthers do, I guess, or doing something that's kind of underground or outside of the system. Well, it's really not outside of the system any more than Elon Musk is outside of the system. The system is gargantuan. The system is huge. The system is literally everything, and probably most of the people that have large platforms that you think are insiders and really aren't. The beast system is gargantuan. And I just don't see in the world that we're in right now, where God is so clearly calling us to come out of the world fully, finally, separating us from the world in every way by everything that we genuinely believe. I don't know how we can stay in the world on a level of investing our hard-earned money into a digital platform that, number one, could go away like that. It could literally, if technology is no longer available to you, if technology goes down, if you have no electricity, you have no electricity, you have no access to this money. It's fake. It's monopoly money, just like every other kind of currency. What good will it be if there's no way to access it on an internet or with electricity? It's worthless. At least cash in hand will still be spendable. Cash in hand, not money in a bank account, but cash in hand, or gold or silver, whatever. So that in and of itself, that alone tells me if it's tied to digital, it's tied to the beast system. But on top of that, we're coming to a time very soon where the internet as we know it will not be fully accessible anymore unless you qualify socially. It's already that way in China, I believe. The social credit scores. There's a lot of things. People are being restricted from travel. People being restricted from a lot of things if they don't have good social credit scores. Well, I can tell you right now, myself, I would have social credit score of 0. So I'm not going anywhere doing nothing in China, right? But if you can restrict my access to the internet based upon my social credit score, and I've got $100,000 sitting in Bitcoin, it's worthless. You're just as poor as if you never got involved in it to begin with. So what good is it then? So if you think that getting into Bitcoin, getting into cryptocurrency, death currency, is going to get you ahead. I fear it might set you up for a really big fall, when all of a sudden you can't access it. So it's a feel-good thing right now. You're kind of riding the wave of having a lot of money. And hey, like I've been talking about, I'm riding a little bit of that wave myself. I just got the most dream freelance job I've ever had in my life. And I've been riding that wave just for the last week plus. And it's been great. And it's nice to have some means. It's nice to earn some money for my work. But that's not the same as putting money into a digital format that can't be trusted. It could go down at any time, and furthermore, you may be scored out of based upon your beliefs, based upon your social media activity, based upon not getting a big bad jab, right? Because I'm telling you, that's going to be social credit score number 1 criteria. Did you get the jab? Did you get the old shot in the arm? And if you didn't get that, you're starting at 0 from day 1. And that's coming really, really soon. So I don't think it's going to be that long before we, as people who refuse the agenda, no longer have access to the internet as we know it, which is already basically censored to oblivion. But we won't have access to most of the information that we have. I don't think it's that long off. So how much money do you want to have in your cryptocurrency accounts? When and if we're blindsided by that, I just don't think it's a good idea. I really don't think it's a good idea. If I could give my strongest advice, I would tell you to get it out right now. Just get it out. Put it in something tangible. Put it in something you can actually use. Something that will hold its value regardless of world conditions. And do it now. I mean, Bitcoin's at a sky high right now. It might double again. I mean, it might go up to 100,000. Who the hell knows? It could go up to 1 million. It's irrelevant. You and I won't be involved in the system if we don't get the jab and go with the agenda. Get the COVID passport and get the quantum dot tattoo. We don't go along with all that. What's the point? Who cares if your 10,000 turns into 1 million? You won't be able to use it. Someone else will. So I would suggest getting out now. I don't give financial advice. This is not financial advice. This is spiritual advice. Because I don't think the love of money is ever a good thing. Ever, ever, ever. And even though I'm making more money right now in the last week, 1 week, I've made more money than I've ever made in my life in a week. And it's going to continue on for months. Even though that's happening and it feels good, I don't love it. I don't love it at all. And if it goes away tomorrow, it doesn't affect me. I'll figure something else out. I've always survived. I've always been a survivor. I've had some great people in my life. But I've always been a survivor. I've gotten through. And I find my happiness not in the money, not in the increase of currency. I find my happiness in love. I find my happiness in the Almighty. Seeking Him with all my heart. Because without Him, none of that even matters a damn thing. None of it matters. Nothing else in this world matters without Him. And we're going to learn that lesson. If we haven't learned it already, we're going to be tested. We're going to be tested like we've never been tested. And money's not going to be a thing on our minds at that point. So I think our energy needs to be refocused away from money and cryptocurrency if your energy has been there, or if you know somebody who has. Share this, and they're a believer or kind of a believer or consider themselves a Christian or know what the mark of the beast is or all those things. Send them this podcast and just say, hey, I know you're really into crypto. Thought you might be interested in this weirdo's take on it. I think there's really something to it. And it really surprised me today when I put that on Twitter, how positively it was received. Because honestly, I thought that a lot of people who follow me on that platform were probably really into crypto. And maybe the ones that are just stayed silent and didn't really argue with my stance on it. Or maybe they're really into crypto and deep down know that my stance on it being part of the beast system is true. Maybe they understand that. And so have no real argument about it. And I put out another tweet today, and I mean this. I would love to go on anybody's show, anybody's podcast, big or small, that promotes Bitcoin and that are believers in Christ. First of all, I don't want to go on a show of anybody who's just a Bitcoin guy and is just in it for the money. Well, of course, I'm not gonna give my debate on that, because they're not believers, and they may not be looking at it from a perspective of someone who understands the beast system is coming in hot, right? It's coming in hot. They might not understand that, but people like, I don't want to name names, but I think you know kind of who I'm talking about. There's a few people you think I know, you know who I'm talking about. People like that, I would love to talk to and have an open debate with. I really would. And it's not for self-promotion. I don't care about that. I've told you 100 times, I don't make a dime off of any of this. I just want to talk to them and talk publicly, so other people can gain some insights that they may not have. But I want to know their exact stance and why they think, as a believer who understands what the beast system is and has been putting out information on it over and over and over again for over a decade, is now promoting Bitcoin. I just don't understand it. I don't understand it, and I'd like to, because maybe there's a piece of this puzzle that I'm missing. But everything I'm seeing is I'm seeing this heading toward a one world currency based on blockchain. A rainbow currency, a blockchain, crypto death currency that you and I don't want to be in. So I hope you enjoyed my take on this. Even if you disagree with it, I hope you can understand at least where I'm coming from. I'd like you to head on over to avoidthemark.com/podcast. If you haven't listened to my other podcast, I believe this is episode number 53. So there's 52 of them on there. Others from about the last, less than 2 months or so that I've been putting out. There's so much great information on there. If you really want to understand God and really seek God, and not just that, but man, so many other things. Just look through some of the titles and just page through and see the different titles. Find a few things that interest you and start there and just see. I think some of the things that God's had to say through me in the last few months have been very powerful. And truth be told, like I always say, I'm a vessel. I don't always know what I'm going to say when I start talking. And when I get done, sometimes I re-listen to what God has spoken through me and I learn from it. So this one, not so much. I know crypto and I know I would never get involved in it, but I know a lot of you probably are, or maybe have been tempted simply because the monetary gain possibilities. And I'm telling you, I just think it's going to take us down that path that could lead to that situation that sucks us in and gets us stuck, and we don't know how to get out. So let's get out of the world. Let's keep our focus on Creator and coming out of the world with the people we love. And I think we can find some happiness there. I really, really do. I really do, because there's no happiness in this miserable world. There just isn't. Anyway, I hope you have a good night, the rest of your night tonight. Today is April 4th. It's Easter. It is 5:52 p.m. Central Time. Hope you had a great Easter and got to spend some time with some family and friends. Had a good dinner and whatever you did for Easter. I hope you enjoyed it. And we will speak soon. Peace.